Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video every single morning to help you catch up with things that you might have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all important rest. Because let's face it, whilst you and I might need sleep, the world of sport doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other going on, and it can be a little tough keeping abreast of every single little development. But worry not, that's what this video is here for. And let's start off with the man who broke all sorts of records yesterday, Cameron Green. Now, Green was picked up by KKR for 25.2 crores in the IPL mini auction, which is, of course, a record bid for any overseas player and is the third most expensive player in the history of the IPL auction. But one day after the auction, he ends up having a bit of a failure in the Ashes. He's out for a two-ball duck as Australia have been struggling in the first innings of the third test of the Ashes. Obviously, hardly ideal for him to be showcasing this kind of form a day after becoming a record signing, but I mean, it is Test cricket, so let's say I don't think Toomey will be that concerned. Still noteworthy, though, that a day after that bid, he ends up struggling just a little bit in Test cricket. Speaking of the Ashes Test match, there was also a moment of silence that was observed before the third Ashes Test, with both players from Australia and England wearing black armbands to mark the tragic mass shooting at Sydney's Bondi Beach. Obviously, that was a very tragic incident, and thoughts and prayers go out to everyone. Nice touch, really, from the England and Aussie players to actually, let's say, pay a little bit of tribute. And given it happened so recently, it only makes sense that they do that. Coming back to the IPL though, and this one is a slightly funny bit of news. Prithvi Shaw ended up doing a little bit of a social media U-turn after the auction. So when he went unsold after the first two rounds, which is of course the regular round, and thereafter in the first accelerated round, he posted a story with a heartbroken emoji and said it's okay. But then he was finally picked up by DC in the third round of auction when his name came up. And at that point, he quickly deleted the story and simply reshared the welcome back message that DC had shared for him. Pretty hilarious in some ways, and perhaps a case of not jumping the gun, or a good example of why it is you shouldn't be jumping the gun. Never really know how it is things work out, so wait till the end of the auction before expressing any disappointment of this regard. More cricket news, and this one a bit of a health scare for Yashasvi Jaiswal. He was suffering from stomach cramps after a Syed Mushtaq Ali game against Rajasthan, which actually ended up intensifying after the game. And so he was rushed to a hospital due to the fact that his health was seemingly deteriorating in that sense. And he was diagnosed with acute gastroenteritis. Afterwards, he was given IV medication and then diagnosed with an ultrasound and CT scan, which said that he was should basically be getting some rest and then also given some medication. So a bit of a health scare, but good to know that it was swiftly taken care of by Jaiswal's team. And well, that he's going to be recovering and back in the cricket field soon because he's actually been in very good form during the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy games as well. And one more bit of cricket news, obviously today is in fact the day of the fourth T20I rally between India and South Africa. And India, lest we forget, will have a chance to seal the T20I series because they're 2-1 up. If they win the fourth game, then they will, in fact, be winning the series, which will be an eighth consecutive series win, if memory serves me right, in T20I cricket. So, despite all the talk of experimentation and this and that, could very well be in a scenario whereby they have actually sealed the series. More sporting news, but this time in the world beyond cricket. So FIFA World Cup organizers have now unveiled a new cut price ticket category after there was a lot of backlash by fans over the pricing of tickets for the event at which was set to be hosted in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So FIFA have created a limited number of supporter entry tier tickets fixed at $60 for all of the 104 matches, including the final, which is great because some of those ticket prices were insane to say the least. So I was not very happy with that. Going to the World Cup shouldn't be a premium experience. It should be an experience everyone gets to live. So maybe bring the prices down a little bit. Let's see. Chelsea, by the way, beat Cardiff in the League Cup quarterfinal. The quarterfinal rounds commenced yesterday, and the first one was, in fact, between Chelsea and Cardiff City. Chelsea won it courtesy of a brace from Alejandro Garnacho and a goal from Pedro Neto, although there was a bit of a scare when Cardiff equalized in the 82nd minute. So there was a chance that it could have gone to penalties, but another goal from Garnacho and then one from Neto ended up pretty much ensuring that they sealed their spot in the semi-finals. Three more semi-finals coming up later on tonight. And Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes, he's been in great form recently, but has now come out and said that he felt hurt because he thought that the club basically wanted him to leave in the summer. You remember that in the summer there was a lot of talk that Fernandes was attracting interest from Al Hilal, which is where his compatriot Ruben Neves also plays. And there were talks that it could be a record bid and that United would not really stand in his way if he wanted to move. The fact that in his eyes, United didn't really push back at the bid basically to him proves that it was in essence that they wanted him to leave. So he said that he feels hurt by that. One more bit of news from the this time from the world of Formula One. Actually, two more bits of news to talk about. Formula One will be making a return to Portugal after 6 years. So they will be on going on to the Portuguese Grand Prix in 2027 and 2028. So this marks a 6 year return because the last race that was held in the venue commonly known as Portimao was in 2021. And in fact, Portugal played a key role in F1's return to the grids in both 2020 and 21, which were COVID hit years. And both of those races were won by Lewis Hamilton, something that at this point feels like a distant memory because Hamilton didn't even get a podium finish in this F1 season. So 2 years return for Portimao. Let's see if they can extend it further. But I'm personally very glad it's one of those circuits that presented a bit of a challenge and an interesting one. You got plenty of good fans in as well. Last bit of news before we call it quits. Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy, and Chirag Shetty are going to be the only Indians who will be taking part in the BWF World Tour Finals. Now, if you're wondering what that is, it's basically similar to the ATP and WTA finals which are held in tennis here. The top eight ranked players will take part in the tournament, and in essence, they will compete to win the year ender. Unfortunately for Sakchi, as they are known, well, they are been placed in the group of death. So the only Indian participants may not even make it into the knockout round. And I personally hope that they can, in fact, make it through. But let's see how it is that that goes. Anyhow, that brings to an end this edition of the Morning Wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook. And stay tuned for more such updates from the world of sport throughout the day.